As winter turns gradually into spring, the garden can be a gloomy place, but there's one plant that illuminates everywhere, near and far. It's the hellebore. Hellebores belong to the broad family of Ranunculaceae, the buttercups, and when you glimpse at a hellebore, you can immediately see the resemblance, these lovely rounded buds opening to chalice-like flowers. And the flowers themselves, you'd think these were petals, but they're not. They're sepals. They last much longer than petals, and they protect all the inner workings of the flower. When you look inside, there's a ring of nectaries, and above those are stamens with anthers covered in pollen. So these plants are rich in both nectar and pollen, and they're an absolute feast for pollinating insects. Hellebores are amongst the most accommodating and affable plants, providing you ensure that the soil they're growing in is rich in organic matter. And even if you haven't got a garden, you can still grow them in pots. Look at these beautiful examples. Just remember, big pots, because they need ample room for those big thrusting roots. And make sure, since you are limiting their growing space, that you grow them in loam-based compost and that you give them an occasional feed. A good liquid organic feed is ideal. And top up the pots every so often, because you want to maintain that spectacular performance. There are several different species of hellebores. Most of them come from Central Europe, but there are two native to the British Isles. This is one of them. This is Hellebores foetidus. It's called the stinking hellebore in common parlance. I actually quite like the smell. It's a bit roast beefy, and that's coming from a vegetarian. But I adore the plant with these great stems of lots of small, rounded flowers. Each one of them is rimmed in scarlet. There's another native hellebore too, which is called varieties, but it's a dinky, dainty little thing, a complete contrast to this, which is big, bold and beautiful. Enterprising plant breeders saw the potential of crossing some of these different species from different places, and they've come up with some brilliant results. The most popular are forms of Hellebores hybridus. There seems to be no end to the infinite variety of colours and forms, patterns and textures of these beautiful flowers. They can be almost any colour, from glowing yellow, virginal white or dark and dramatic. Lots of them have beautiful markings, sometimes delicately veined, some with pickety edges. Many of them have anemone centres, and some fully double, with multiple sepals, frilly, frou-frou, and tremendously pretty. Well, you can be a plant breeder yourself. All you need to do is choose two that you think might make a good match. So this is the one I'm going to put the pollen onto. And you want a bud that's just beginning to open. That means that its own anthers inside are not producing any pollen yet. And then you want something that's got loads and loads of anthers, rich in pollen. And then you need very simple equipment, a pen with a black lid, and you just rub it on your jeans to create a bit of static. And it doesn't matter which of these flowers you choose, as long as they're loaded with pollen. You gently rub this lid over those anthers, and then move back, peel these petals or sepals back a little bit, and just gently rub the end of your pen with this pollen onto the stigma, the female bit. And then, so you remember which one it is, just cut a bit of embroidery thread or anything like that and tie it round the flower that you've pollinated and make a little note of what the parents were. And all you do then is wait. At the end of May, the beginning of June, collect your seed and then sow it straight away. It'll take a couple of years before you actually see the new flowers, but when you do, what excitement! It's not only that hellebores bridge that gap between the winter and the spring. They seem to be saying, this is our season, this is our time. Come on, let's get into the garden.